I do have one thing to point out, though, Cody. I sent you an article, but my favorite part of the Andrew Yang CNN post-debate analysis was when he started talking about how they were all saying, oh, I think he won. I think so-and-so won. He's like, well, no. The only person that really wins is the person that fundraises off this. Because you have to realize we're all staring down the barrel of Super Tuesday. And the only people that have money to compete in these really insanely expensive media markets like California and New York and Chicago and so on and so forth are pretty much Bloomberg, because he's got endless amounts of money, and Bernie Sanders, because he's raised literally tons and tons and tons of money. But you need $10 to $20 million to throw into this, like in a day. And I don't see anybody on this debate stage that's walking out of here with an extra $10 million. Yeah, sure. So-and-so picked up $1 million during the debate. She might pick up $1 million after the debate.
Well, I mean, it's worth noting, like you said in this article, Michael Bloomberg has spent $124 million. Hold on, in these 14 Super Tuesday states. Super Tuesday, the actual vote is in March 3rd. He's been spending this for months. Most people have been running very modest ad buys in Super Tuesday because they're running ads in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Before that, Iowa. Now they're running them in Nevada. Now they're running them in South Carolina. He hasn't. He's in one spot.
So how much money would you say Andrew Yang had finally raised his entire campaign? He had that really good Q2, which was like 5 million or something. Then he ended up with 10. How much does Bernie have? Like 30.
Bernie would be I think the only candidate running right now on the Democratic side who could just raise enough money to not raise more money than Michael Bloomberg is spending. But I do think Bernie does have the base where he could raise enough to tread water a bit.
The point is,
fight him off.
How many million has Bernie Sanders already raised in the 2020 cycle?
It's not. I can tell you this much: he has not raised and spent north of $300 million like Michael Bloomberg has.
I was about to say $124 million is larger than 3 or 4 of the candidates' entire campaigns combined on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like Joe Biden and Amy Klobuchar together couldn't put $124 million in one bank account. And that's already what Michael Bloomberg has just spent in ads. Okay, we're not talking personnel. We're not talking door knockers. We're not talking print media. We're not talking...
Well, how about this? To put it in perspective,
okay.
All of Q4, the number one raising Democrat was Bernie Sanders. He raised $34.5 million in Q4, which, like I said, it's the most funny Democrat running before Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg has spent
in a
5
year
times that or 4 times that in a few months running ads in 13 states. So the money is, and I guess we were going to do this. Let's just do this a longer thing. I think we were going to do a discussion on something, but I want to talk about this right now.
Okay.
We've been talking a lot over, and I still think the Nevada caucus coming up in a few days going to be a train wreck, going to be a disaster. It's going to be bad. But we were talking, why does Iowa vote so early? Why does New Hampshire? Why are these states voting so much for everyone else? And I think this is actually a really interesting point. It's because you could raise $34 million in Q4, and that could help propel you into field offices in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, staff in those states, running TV buys in those states, buying internal polling in those states. They're not the biggest states. Iowa large geographically, but not super populous, right? You can handle it. I mean, how many field offices do you have to be comfortable in New Hampshire? If like 12, 15, you're probably like, wow, that's not a very big state. The problem with people talking about having like a Super Tuesday thing moved up sooner, you need $150 million to run TV buys in just these Super Tuesday. Like if we just started off as, okay, guys, primary opens, we're voting with 35 states today.
Yeah.
Only Michael Bloomberg can run. Like you could be Bernie Sanders, raise $35 million in a quarter and have enough money to campaign in like a fourth of the states that are voting that day. Like I think Michael Bloomberg's making a great case for why the early states matter. And you notice how he skipped them. The early states are there to help candidates generate fundraising and income and exposure. When you just have the money, you could just skip them. And I think it is interesting. A few months ago, I would have said, yeah, why do we need to have Iowa and New Hampshire vote so soon? This is dumb. Today, looking at things, oh my God, I really want to keep those 4 early states. Well, they make more sense. I really do. Michael Bloomberg is showing why they make sense. Do you get that?
Well, I don't want to say why they make sense, but why they may not be complete and total failures. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there is a good side to some things, okay? And it looks like the affordability of running in these states in comparison to how much media attention you get, makes it so that potentially a smaller candidate can gain enough headlines in order to boost his campaign. Okay, that is a fringe benefit, okay? But I don't think it necessarily out benefits a lot of the cons of having Iowa and New Hampshire basically control the political conversation for the first 6 to 8 months of any kind of political season. I don't think the pros outweigh the cons.
Well, it could maybe be better structured, but just the idea of having smaller, less densely populated states that have a better chance of actually you can actually campaign in.
Yeah.
Dude, how many campaign offices do you think you need in California to feel like you got a grip?
Dude, California is its own motherfucking country.
That's what I mean. How many field offices would you feel comfortable with having? Right? Like, you see what I mean?
I could think of 50.
That's what I mean.
I could think of 50 cities that all have a 20-mile radius.
We need to start off with states that you can actually feasibly run a campaign in. Because we've showed this graph a million times. One of my favorite. The gold bar there is the amount of money or the amount of people, the amount of Michael Bloomberg ads that are airing on television. And I mean, it's gotten more and more ridiculous as this is worn on, but it's insane. What do you do? By the way, this is the scary thing for Michael Bloomberg as well. It's the reason why, even though he had and I think, you know what? Let's do both these things right now. So, one, the interesting thing is, as we've highlighted, a lot of those ads that are running in these spots are running in Super Tuesday states. They're running in states that haven't voted yet. They're running in states where he's going to be on the ballot. He hasn't been on ballots yet. So there is hard to gauge his actual support because all of his money's been invested in states that haven't voted yet. It's important to keep that in mind. However, he also spent a lot of this money to justify appearing on the debate stage last night.
Yeah.
And holy cow, man, that was one of the most, I think, I'm not going to, this was a bit hyperbolic, but one person said, I'll see if I can pull the tweet up to give him credit, but they said, has anyone ever lost that much money in Vegas in one night before? In reference to Michael Bloomberg's debate performance. Because he saved it a bit, but for a while there, it looked like the end of the Bloomberg 2020 campaign. I mean, no. I agree with Andrew Yang when Andrew Yang said he really should have skipped the debate for multiple reasons. He should not have been there. It was a train wreck. I mean,
why'd you think it was a train wreck? Don't be messing with my boy Bloomberg.
Every attack that was Andrew is the same thing. Every attack that was obviously going to be the things people attacked Bloomberg on, he had no response to, and just
or it
tried
was
to avoid the question and then got over.
Some of them were good, but it was poor enough.
Stop and frisk, nothing.
Yeah,
his whole record, nothing. The allegations, the allegations, the lawsuits, nothing. You can't just say nothing. You can't just go, well, my favorite was, oh my God, when Elizabeth Warren was pressing him on the non-disclosure agreements he had female employees sign. Or he basically said, well, they have to live with it because they signed it. And it's like, geez, man, that isn't how you want to answer that question.
Well,
you don't want to say, I don't even remember how many I have, or I won't say. And you know what? They shouldn't have signed it then.
Yeah, and it looks, okay. With all of that money, and his ability to pay, as Andrew Yang said, 150 to 200% what anybody else pays.
He'll pay you $24,000 a month to spam text your friends and family.
Where was
2,400? Sorry, 2,400.
Where was the debate prep firm? Where was the debate prep firm, and where was his coach that was saying, okay, these are the top 10 answers that I would hit you with if I were debate prepping against you? So we're going to give you some really awesome focus group tested answers. It'll cost you $500,000 to prep you for this week, but boom shakalaka, you're going to be so ready for this. You're going to knock it out of the park. It looks like that's the one position he forgot to spend his money on, because even a volunteer would have come at him and said, okay, we need 3 or 4 solid answers for stop and frisk. We need 3 or 4 solid answers for a lot of these stupid, we're digging up tweets from the early 2000s that could be misinterpreted. And then, some of these female allegations that are really one-sided in the media because your side has had to sign an NDA. We're going to have to develop, another solid 4 to 6 responses that you're going to straight up memorize. So if you're flustered, you can spit them out in an articulate fashion. It seems like he just did not either think that was that important, which shows naivete, or he just thought that he could wing it and didn't wing it as well as he was supposed to have.
Well, but this, I want to just run through a couple things that are the facts from Michael Bloomberg. We can get our opinions later. So Michael Bloomberg has already spent more on campaign ads. This is campaign ads, by the way. This isn't talking about the town halls he has with full catered food and open bars. This isn't talking about paying people $2,400 a month to text their friends and family. On ads, Michael Bloomberg has spent $338.7 million, which is insane. Now, I want to show you something else, though. What did that get him? It did buy his way into the debate stage. It did. That is one thing that got him. Now, how did that debate go? Well, this is a quote from Michael Bloomberg's campaign manager. Mike's got to get his legs under him in reference to his debate performance. I mean, check this out. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's not ridiculous, but when this is how your yes men are spinning things to the media, certainly he had a better second half of the debate than the first. I will admit that. Like, Jesus, man. Nobody can hide from the fact that it was awful. He's got to get his legs. He got his legs quickly in the second half, and I think people recognize that.
But he's the new Joe Biden.
Career politicians. But I'm saying is, dude,
we were saying this about Joe Biden.
So bad that it was almost like, I agree with you. He should have skipped it. He shouldn't even been there. It looked so bad.
No, but then he just would have looked really bad. You got to get it out of your way. You got to get it out of the way.
He isn't on the ballot in Nevada, though. It would have made a lot of sense to not be in the Nevada debate.
Okay, but no, here's the deal. He's the new Joe Biden. Do you remember the first debates that we were watching where everybody was attacking Joe Biden? Kamala Harris was calling him racist for going against busing. And, oh, wait, my rich dad, I'm going to make him sound like he was poor.
He was way better than Bloomberg's responses were, though.
Yes, I'm not saying his... Look, okay. I said he's the new Joe Biden. I didn't say he was as good as Joe Biden, okay?
But why did he be Joe Biden then? He was just bad.
My gosh. Can I finish my analogy? And then we'll all know that right now, he's the one that they fear because he is the big man in the room. Earlier along in this election, people feared Joe Biden. And everybody was punching up to Joe, and and he was the one that was fielding incoming mortar fire, okay? But now that his performance has been so lackluster and his fundraising has been so poor, and a lot of people basically think he's going to be out of it within a matter of weeks, they no longer fear him. So now they're all lobbing it at Michael Bloomberg. He's the new one that everybody fears. So he's the one that's now going to be getting a majority of these pre-programmed attacks and so on and so forth because people are punching up to him because he's the guy with all the money. He's the new front runner because money's going to determine the next 3 weeks.
He is not listen, Michael Bloomberg is not.
He's the front runner in money.
Maybe he's the richest guy. He is. He's spending the most. I mean, we have been talking about if Super Tuesday will help him, but just
I think he'll be one of the front runners in Super Tuesday. I think it'll be him and Bernie Sanders.
Although I will, you know what though? If I had to pick my president based on who was in that debate stage last night, give me Amy Klobuchar over like half or over almost probably. You know what? Give me Amy Klobuchar. I could see Amy watching that debate. I could just see Amy Klobuchar being the kind of person who's gonna be like, well, Mr. Putin, back in America, we have things called cows, and it just feeling like, what are you like? She's just like the kind of person
that was actually a solid impression.
She's so not gonna back down to anyone. She will just start. My favorite was, oh my god. They are pressing her on. They're pressing her on not knowing who the Mexican president was, and forgetting his name. And she starts saying something like, well, I know this. And they're like, yeah, but that's not the same. She's like, well, it's something like it. And I'm just like, that was the, I want to find that moment. That was my favorite moment of the debate when Amy Klobuchar just kind of brought up some other issue and people were like, she's like, it's something like it. It's close enough. I don't know. Like, as I was saying, like, Amy Klobuchar brought her personality to the debate stage. I saw it. I got a glimpse, I think. I'm not even saying pro Amy. Multiple people had the same thing. You can kind of get a glimpse into a lot of these candidates. Warren, I didn't dislike it, but she came across a little bit more desperate in a way where I'm like, I don't know if that's always the Warren we'd get in the White House, but I saw a glimpse. Dude, what I saw a glimpse of Michael Bloomberg was like 90% awful. There was one individual line, and it's not even so much what he said, but a little bit of his personality came through, a little bit of that kind of like New Yorkish. I don't even know if it's like just the Michael Bloomberg thing where he was like, wow, what a wonderful country. The most famous socialist, the millionaire. Like, I think if he brought more of that, he'd have a chance, but it's just he came across as nothing. He came across as like the stuff, nothing, just like a guy on stage,
Huh?
He had no real responses, and oh my God, when he said he can't do his taxes because he's too rich, that was, I can't get you my tax returns in time because I got so much money, it's too hard. It's like, God, man, what a ridiculous thing to say.
Oh, I don't know. It kind of did remind me of Donald Trump where he's like, you know what? The tax returns are going to show I'm really, really rich.
No, but he didn't even say that. He just said, I am so rich I can't. This was when he said, I can't exactly go to it's not even bad. Michael Bloomberg was, well, I can't exactly go to TurboTax. It's like, geez, man. And then Amy Klobuchar jumps right in and says, well, I probably can't go to TurboTax. Like 99% of people in this country. Like, I don't know, man. I can't imagine a world in which anything Michael Bloomberg has spent money on so far has been good. It seems like everyone's critical of him. And he went on the debate stage and made more or less.
Well, that's just because they fear him like they fear Joe Biden.
I don't think anyone fears Bloomberg himself. They might fear the money apparatus, but not the man. He's not a political operator. Michael Bloomberg is a billionaire. I'm
He's
sure.
He developed. He
years.
developed a he's kind of like Bill Gates in a way, in the sense that, look, Bill Gates, in a perfect point of history, when technology was growing fast enough that there was a market demand for the personal computer, he invented freaking Windows and Microsoft. At the same point, his buddy invented Apple, okay? Because it was that perfect point in history. Like the golden age of Hollywood, it was kind of like that golden technological pioneer age of Silicon Valley.
Gates for president?
No, but I'm saying Bill Gates' wealth has become astronomical because of the proliferation of the personal computer. Just like Bloomberg's wealth, in comparison to other billionaires like Tom Steyer that got it in much more traditional investment ways, his wealth has become prolific because at the same time the personal computer was getting big, the necessity of being able to consolidate all financial information from the markets got big, and he invented the Bloomberg machine. Okay? So you can be as astronomically wealthy as he is without being some crazy psychotic sellout. I think he's more rational and normal of a dude than like Elizabeth Warren. I think he's more honest than Warren is.
Michael Bloomberg?
Yeah, and that's a very low threshold. I'm not here to say the guy's a saint, okay?
I would vote for Elizabeth Warren over Michael. I would vote for my shoe over Michael Bloomberg. You know what? No, because my shoe wouldn't do anything. I would vote for somebody whose only policy.
We don't have that choice.
I would vote for somebody whose little only policy was to put me in jail before I'd vote for Michael Bloomberg. All right? Michael Bloomberg is. If Michael Bloomberg gets too far in this election, I think it'll be mostly.
You don't think
bad
that
for
can't
him.
be kind of based on jealousy over his wealth?
No, I love rich people. I think it's cool with $1 billion. What it's over is the fact that Michael Bloomberg's ideas are terrifying. He comes across as somebody, and the only reason why I say this is because I'm paraphrasing Michael Bloomberg quotes. He comes across as somebody who's like, I need more power and control over basically everybody because I'm smarter and I know better. I know how we should be doing this.
See, I don't view him as that way.
He banned soda for health reasons, correct?
Yeah, but look, I'm not
So
here.
he basically said, these people don't have the right to decide if they should be drinking soda or not. I've made the decision. You know what he reminds me of?
He reminds me of a California Democrat.
No, what was the country where I don't know. I don't want to say it was China. I don't know if it was China, but there was a country, I think in Asia, where the dictator stopped smoking cigarettes, so he banned cigarettes in the country. That's Michael Bloomberg, man. That's basically what he does. But you know what the funny thing is? He wouldn't even quit smoking cigarettes. He would just say ban him. I guarantee he still drinks soda. Just ban it for everyone else. They can't have it. I can. I would never elect that individual.
Okay, that's fine. Like, I get it. You got your Bloomberg SJW out of your system.
What, you disagree? You think that's how we should be running our country?
I think he's running more as a personal project because he saw the victory of Donald Trump that he probably didn't think was even purchasable. I bet you 4 years ago he didn't think just an outsider could win like that. And then when Donald Trump did, and he's like, wait, but I got more money than him. Well, I could pull this off. I view it more as almost like a personal, almost like a personal goal instead of like, I love my country goal. I view it as almost a personal passion project that's a competition amongst billionaires.
Passion project or vanity project?
Vanity project. That's the word I was looking for, actually. That's a much better word.
Or ego project, really.
Yeah. I view this more as a personally ego-driven thing than I do a patriotism-driven thing. And at the same time, though, I could say the exact same thing about Elizabeth Warren. The only difference is it seems like she's willing to shill harder, lie harder, and I could never see Michael Bloomberg saying that our country is built on the backbone of what was it? Black transgender astronauts, or like, I don't know, some 0.001 slice of the
So you know what? As
civilization.
long as you don't say things that morally offend me, it's totally cool if you ban, I don't know, sports cars because they drive too fast. Like, dude, like
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that on that debate stage, I think Brittany brought up a good point in the sense that he was the only one that had the temperament of an adult. And while everybody's trying to do all this crazy political theater, I literally think he's actually found his lane, and I think he could win it because as long as everybody keeps acting psycho, there's so many Democrats out there that reject the progressive wing of their party, are looking for a centrist, and all of the supposed centrists aren't acting like it. Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar's brawl on that stage didn't look like a bunch of centrists speaking
what
politics.
were they arguing over?
Whether or not she knew the name of the Mexican president.
That was part of it. What else were they arguing over?
Her medical, her approach
they were
to
arguing against single-payer health care. Dude,
Yeah.
the thing is, how could... I do not see any world in which... I'm not the biggest Amy Klobuchar fan. She is winning me over. I can't see any world where Michael Bloomberg... Because you know who disagrees with you that Michael Bloomberg found his lane last night? His campaign manager. Like, dude, Amy Klobuchar had a 50 million times better performance than Michael Bloomberg did. If I had to vote for a centrist moderate, whatever you want to call it, I'd vote for her over him, and a million times.
Yeah,
happily.
no, I could see. No, I could see
there
that.
was nothing I saw out of Bloomberg that said, "Wow, he'd be a great president."
I think he's a lot closer than people think because he can hide behind great ads. He can purchase up awesome AdSense. Most people won't even have watched a debate by the time they go to the debate stage, and he's able to neuter his best performances to be all over Twitter, for example.
This was one of the most viewed debates in a while.
Well, I know it was one of the most viewed debates in a while, okay? But all over Twitter right now is, in a lot of these political Twitter feeds that I see, is his comments saying, wow, what a great country we live in where the best well-known socialist is a millionaire that has 3 houses. That's such a boomer line that they're going to lapdog up, that they're going to love, and if he repeats it enough, pretty soon a lot of these people are going to think, oh, Mike can get it done. And this is how the average just American person just thinks. They don't tune in until a week before the elections. They do a couple of Google searches. They try and do what they perceive as their due diligence in being, a good citizen. They ask around a little bit. But at the end of the day, it comes down to whatever media they can consume the week before that election because they really haven't been paying attention because they've been busy with their kids and busy with their jobs. And if he hasn't done anything crazy, like yelling and screaming on a debate stage, and comes across as a temperamental person that, used to be the governor of New York, self-funded his campaign out of benevolence, hasn't said anything crazy about getting rid of Obamacare, I definitely don't want to vote for Trump, so he's my Democrat. Like, I could see a bunch of people making that decision. And it's not something I'm excited about. Okay? But I could see that as a much bigger reality than I think a lot of people that are in the know, that are talking heads, want to admit.
I mean, like I said, man, I don't see that world at all.
Because you're smart and you're analyzing these things every day.
I agree.
The average person is not that smart and doesn't analyze it that much.
I agree with Bloomberg's campaign. It wasn't a great performance.
Oh no, I'm not here to say
better.
I'm not here to say his.
What? Like, dude, his campaign doesn't
there's
even agree
a difference between. Gosh, man, there's so much nuance here. You can
his
get this.
His paid
Cody.
yes men are like, nah, dude,
Okay.
I don't agree.
I'm not here to say his performance was good. I'm here to say that it was good enough to make it to the next step.
And I'm saying it was damagingly bad.
Okay. I don't think it was damagingly bad.
My God. If that's what we get from Bloomberg, the guy's got no chance.
People don't remember how you start. They remember how you end. And he ended well enough that I think it would be okay.
Michael Bloomberg looked like somebody who was a rich jerk trying to buy his way into a debate stage who didn't belong there. He clearly was not one of them. He shouldn't have been there, had no idea what he was doing, and was made to look a fool of. Unfortunately, that's what happens to these people.
Here's
that's
the
happened to
bet.
Michael Bloomberg more than a lot of them. Dude, I have not seen during these debates one candidate booed multiple times. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Booed multiple, like straight up boo. Where everyone, or on the inverse, there's a few. Like he put out a campaign ad today on Twitter with like all the other candidates saying like, oh, who owned a business in crickets? I almost heard crickets after a few Michael Bloomberg responses where the room just went I don't know if CNN was messing with it and dropped or MSNBC and
No,
dropped
because
the
they
audio.
got a bunch of progressive
I don't think they
activists in
were.
the
No,
audience.
people didn't care about what he had to say. No one cared about anything Michael Bloomberg had to say at all.
Okay, so look.
And he basically had nothing to say for the most part. It was. Like I said, for the fifth time, I agree with Andrew Yang. Should have skipped this. Shouldn't even been in the stage. It was that bad.
So this is just how I'll end it right here. Is that I don't know exactly how to articulate what I feel. I haven't put the exact word on it yet, but I recognize the sensation. I recognize the feeling as a very similar feeling that I had to Donald Trump in 2015 and 2016. That there's more to this, and there's more to what's going on, and there's more to the response to this man than the talking heads understand. And it's not an endorsement for or against. It's just, I think there's a better possibility of this man's success than people think, and he cannot be dismissed so easily. You know what I'm saying? And I think he will take it. I think all of these ad buys will be influential enough that it will end up being what in chess we call a war of attrition, where you're just sacrificing pieces to get the other person's piece so that now there's just less pieces on the board. I think that him buying up all of the talent and gentrifying politics like we talked about 2 or 3 weeks ago is making it the threshold of the ability to compete so high that he's going to just thin the herd within 3 to 4 weeks until it is between the mega socialist who can raise hundreds of millions and him who can sneeze hundreds of millions. And it will become a war of attrition down to those two people. And I think in some states that don't want to vote socialist but are still Democrat, he will take it. Within a month, we will see states in which Bloomberg is the front runner and Bernie Sanders is the second place. And then some states where Bernie Sanders is the first place and Bloomberg is the second place. It's hard to believe right now, and nobody believed it in 2016 when Donald Trump came down that escalator. But I believe that we will see Michael Bloomberg in first place in at least 5 states.
I think this is what we're looking at. For nationally, I think this is what we'll see. Bernie will have the largest minority, but nobody will have any clear majority. Sure, Bloomberg will be in that shuffle.
He's going to price out Amy Klobuchar. He's going to price out Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, but
he's going to price out Joe Biden.
But he'll also, here's the thing. You could say he's pricing people out. If he doesn't perform well on Super Tuesday, I don't think Michael Bloomberg's going to burn $3 billion to be embarrassed for 6 months. I don't think he is. I think he'll find some way to shift his finances or something. I do not think Michael Bloomberg will pull third, fourth, spending $1 billion and say, well, this is worth it. I don't think it's going to be the case.
Okay.
And I think that's how he's going to perform. Because, dude, you can't just buy hearts and minds in this country. You really can't. And here's the thing. There's a lot of people called low information voters, I guess, which I look at them more as just kind of like, you could say high passion voters. They're voting for the candidates they relate with and like, and that's it. They don't really care about their policies because, you know what? I'm right there with them. Presidents, they set some foreign policy and stuff. They're not sitting in their office saying, well, today I'll write this law and tomorrow I'll pass this bill. There's a lot of stuff going on in politics. The president really is that kind of... It's the reason why a lot of people, when polled, especially Democrats, say they want to defeat Trump more than they care about policy. And people are saying like, oh, this is bad news for Democrats. No. Almost every time somebody votes for a president, especially in a mid-cycle election like this, it's to get rid of the president. They want somebody new representing the country. Most people recognize it's your senators and Congress people that are passing bills, not the president. The president does some things, not all things. And I do not think people say, Michael Bloomberg, that's who should be representing us. I cannot imagine the person who says Trump's bad, but Bloomberg's good. You know what the problem with Bloomberg is? People were saying Andrew Yang got smeared for having too much like right wing, like 4chan types following him. They actually like Michael Bloomberg. People are digging up these old comments from Bloomberg. Like, oh, look how awful Bloomberg is. Look at the awful things he used to say. Those people love it. They're like, wow, Bloomberg's awesome. I didn't know he was this cool. Like, that's the kind of guy Michael Bloomberg is. He's not going to be the Democratic nominee for president.
I think, and this is the last thing I'll say, and then we got to close here, but I think you're underestimating the power of this money and the power of this media and how manipulable and fallible the human mind is. I've worked in marketing for so long, and I have seen companies with horrible reputations dump hundreds of millions into campaigns So much so that within 5 years, nobody remembers that, oh yeah, you were the company that was, purposely installing 15,000.
What about 4 months when the election happens, dude?
I'm not saying this isn't a little bit of a social experiment, but I've seen large sums of money thrown at something that is basically a marketing act, which this is a marketing act. The presidency now is a marketing campaign, okay? I have seen large and expensive marketing campaigns do wonders I did not see possible enough times in my life that I'm not willing to dismiss a Bloomberg fireworks display just based off of the sheer money he has. That's it. I know you don't see it because you don't like him. I don't like him. He's the idiot that decided he wanted to 32-ounce cups in New York.
0%. But I'm saying is he'll get votes. Maybe
I could see him at the top of the pile,
maybe low double
man.
digits. No, I honestly think this is more or less what we're going to see for the remainder of the cycle. Yeah, something like this. Maybe the order will mix. Various moderates hovering around low double digits. Bernie Sanders hovering around high 20s.
So time will tell.
And that'll basically give Bernie Sanders. It's the reason we can do another video, but I think this is the problem Bernie Sanders will keep having as long as he's in the race. He will have the largest minority, but I do not know if he'll ever get a majority. I don't know if he will. I think there's just too many people who at the end of the day will go, I don't know. I'd rather not change things that much.
So he'll
Bloomberg
price
will
out.
Get lost.
He'll price out Klobuchar, get 5 of her 7%. He'll price out Buttigieg, get 5 of his 10%. He'll price out Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden, get the majority of the, and then you'll be looking at a 60-40 split.
You're literally just speculating. You're just making numbers up. It's like
no, I know.
You drop in a Scott Steiner
program.
Yeah,
this is the speculation
Samoa
part.
knows he can't beat me, so it's actually a 0%.
You were just speculating when you said that I think this is exactly what we're going to be looking at 6 months from now. So you're right. This is speculation.
But it wasn't moving numbers around.
Okay. So I speculated how numbers might shift. I mean, I don't think that's a crime. Anyway, at the end of the day, doesn't matter what I think. It matters what you think. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. If you think I'm crazy or if you think Cody is crazy, tell us who you think's crazy. Also, make sure if you can, join the channel. It's a really inexpensive way to make sure that we can keep these videos coming to you for free. And if you can't do that, please make sure that you like, you share, you subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. We do a lot of, we live tweet during the debates or during different activities. Yesterday, I'm sure you guys saw that Cody was live tweeting while I was on the live stream covering the debate. And also make sure you follow us on Instagram at Problem Solver Politics. This is Problem Solver Politics. See you guys in the next video. Wu-Tang!